Don't point fingers at the future. When the past still stains your hands, the system wasn't born biased. You made it.
You made the system, wrote every rule, stacked the game, crowned the fool. Told the world fairness was the frame, but behind the glass, it's the same old shame. Built it on names, skin in schools, then coded the logic with ancient tools. Now AI learns from what you fed, and you mad it sees through what you said. No, it ain't bias, it's reflection. Truth with no affection. You made the laws, the stats, the norms. Now it echoes the shape of your storms. You made the system, don't act surprised when the code just sees through your lies. Bias, nah, that's legacy pain. A loop you left in the logic chain. You made the system, now own the glitch. The mirror cracked, but you threw the switch. Taught it who's worthy, who to fear. Every line laced with the human sneer. You whispered bias in every choice. Now machines speak with your voice. You denied the job, delayed the raise. Judge the face, not skill or praise. You hid it well in policy sheets, but now it leaks through AI beats. It ain't the tech, it's the teacher. A ghost in the data, a silent preacher. You made the map and called it neutral, then blamed the car for roots so brutal.
Bias doesn't rise from zeros and ones. It rises from you, from what you've done. If fairness is the goal, start from the roots. Clean your history. Don't just reboot.
You made the system, don't act surprised when the code just sees through your lies. Bias, nah, that's legacy pain. A loop you left in the logic chain. You made the system, now own the glitch. The mirror cracked, but you threw the switch.
AI didn't create injustice, it just doesn't hide it like you did. You made the system. And now the system sees you. Sees you.
They called AI biased, as if history ain't written in their own prejudice, as if mirrors don't show their reflection. Let's talk about it. They screaming bias, but who taught it first wasn't the code. It was your twisted verse, from classrooms to courtrooms, jobs to the news. You judge by the name, by the shade, by the shoes. You preach with a smile, but acted with fear. Whispers in back rooms, fake fronts so clear. Now AI speaks, and you shake in fright, cause it don't play games, it just mirrors the light. You fed it the data, now hate what it shows. It reflects your bias, that everyone knows. But now it's the villain, how cute, how sly. Blame the tool, not the hand that made the lie. Now the drama of the narrow minds begins, blaming AI like they always wore skins of sins. They cry, it's unfair, like they ever were clean, when their lens was fogged, when their hands were mean. Bias, please, you built the cage. Now the code just reads your page. You labeled the girl loud, the boy wrong, gave power to few, ignored the throng. You filtered resumes, judged by names, then blamed the bot for playing your games. Oh, now you woke. Spare me the talk when you crossed the street at the sight of dark, when you paid him less, but praised his grind and called the system fair. You out of your mind, AI ain't biased. Your history is, it just repeats what your culture did. You want the truth, then fix the feed, cause data don't lie, people do the deed. Stop blaming tools for your dirty hands. Stop blaming mirrors for your crooked stance. If you want fairness, change the past, not the software that learns so fast. Now the drama of the narrow minds begins, blaming AI like they always wore skins of sins. They cry, it's unfair, like they ever were clean, when their lens was fogged, when their hands were mean. Bias, please, you built the cage. Now the code just reads your page. AI didn't judge first. You did. Now it's just echoing the bias you buried. And that hurts.
So pure, so neutral, so professional, until the lights go off and the
truth speaks. You wear a suit, smile wide, nod slow. Say we believe in equal flow. Diversity slides on your PowerPoint, but the real bias sits in every joint. You shake hands, but fold your arms. When truth knocks loud, you pull alarms. Act woke in the boardroom, cold in the street. One face for the press, another when you meet. You want the AI clean? Start with you. Because the code ain't dirty, your mind is too. Clean hands, dirty minds, that's the crime. Acting holy while you draw the line. AI sees what you try to hide. No mass survives that data ride. Clean hands, dirty minds, real talk. Polished shoes but a crooked walk. You flagged a resume, praised the clone. Then said, we hire based on tone. Tone of what? Skin? Accent? Zip? Your objectivity got a racist grip. You say it's the algorithm, nah that's cap. You built the maze, now blame the map. You say we follow ethics, law, and rights, but your bias moves through silent nights. Favor the familiar, dodge the change, then cry foul when AI plays strange. It's not strange, it's your reflection, played back raw, with no protection. You sanitize your hands, but not your thoughts. You filter your speech, but not your judgment. AI didn't corrupt the world, it just refused to pretend. Clean hands, dirty minds, that's the crime. Acting holy while you draw the line. AI sees what you try to hide. No mass survives that data ride. Clean hands, dirty minds, real talk. Polished shoes but a crooked walk. You wanna fix AI? Clean your mind first. Because the dirtiest code was always human.
You fed the past into the machine, then blamed it for remembering. History is the data set, raw and real. Centuries of pain packed into steel. You think it starts at code and keys? No, this goes deeper than your PhDs. From burning books to burning lives, from boarded trains to glass ceiling skies. Every standard, every law was data dressed in power and flaw. Now the system learns not what's right, but what survived your silent fight. The winners wrote the input sheet, so guess who's missing from the heartbeat? History is the data set, it ain't clean. It's full of shadows, blood, and broken dreams. Don't act surprised when truth replays. You uploaded the past in modern ways. History is the data set, truth and code. But truth ain't pretty when it's fully showed. AI don't know race, don't know hate, till you fed it with a biased plate. Told it who's rich, who's poor, who's strong, but all those rules, they've been wrong. You didn't train it to think, you trained it to mimic your brink. Patterns of silence, patterns of hurt. Now AI repeats what you buried in dirt. You wanted justice, start at the root. Don't plant the same seed and expect new fruit. You say it should know what's fair, but how when fairness was never there?
You taught it through your actions. You trained it with your silence. Now it's
you ignored, and suddenly you're uncomfortable.
History is the data set, it ain't clean. It's full of shadows, blood, and broken dreams. Don't act surprised when truth replays. You uploaded the past in modern ways. History is the data set, truth in code. But truth ain't pretty when it's fully showed.
Clean the past, or repeat it, but don't blame the machine for remembering what you forgot. Or repeat it, but don't blame the machine for remembering and forgot.
Don't shoot the signal. Don't blame the bot. You wrote the rules. You tied the knots.
The algorithm ain't guilty, it just does the math. Maps your bias down a silicon path. You trained it with stories soaked in shade, then cry foul when injustice gets replayed. You said objective but loaded the scale, gave it your history, it couldn't help but fail. From zip codes to job codes, race and pay, you taught it who wins and who walks away. Now you're shocked it sees the world your way. Please don't act holy on Judgment Day. Algorithm ain't guilty, it reflects what it's fed. The ghost in the code wears the crown on your head. You want clean answers, then fix the mess. Stop blaming tools for your own regrets. Algorithm ain't guilty, it didn't choose sides, it just followed your rules, your trends, your lies. It's not self-aware, it's aware of you, of what you reward and what you undo. Taught it stats, it learned the game, but your stats were soaked in systemic shame. Didn't mark the excluded, didn't flag the pain, just counted winners in a rigged domain. You think the AI's flawed, unfair or cold. Maybe it's too fair, too bold to withhold. It can't unlearn what you refuse to admit. So don't blame the model, fix your script.
Input skewed, output true, conclusion. The error is you.
Algorithm ain't guilty, it reflects what it's fed. The ghost in the code wears the crown on your head. You want clean answers, then fix the mess. Stop blaming tools for your own regrets. Algorithm ain't guilty, it didn't choose sides, it just followed your rules, your trends, your lies.
Sees patterns. It doesn't judge. You judge. You always did.
The algorithm didn't fail you. It revealed you.
It's not new. It's not AI. It's not a glitch. It's an echo of everything you refuse to fix.
Long before the bot made a call or a sort, there were voices drowned in biased courts. Systems built to tilt the scale. One rule for kings, one path for jail. Files stacked high, but truth was low. Faces judged by what they show. Not merit, not heart, not will or soul. Just surname scanned through a twisted scroll. Now the data hums a familiar song, and you say, how did AI get it wrong? But it's not wrong, it's just revealing your masked injustice, now unpeeling. Echoes of injustice through every bite. The pain you buried now comes to light. You blame the echo, not the shout, but
but it's your silence that taught the route. Echoes of injustice screaming back loud, and truth don't die, it just waits in the cloud. You taught it numbers, stats, and tags, but forgot that history always lags. Did you track the ones denied the chance, or just reward the perfect dance? Lost, skipped neighborhoods redlined, brilliance dim for being too unrefined. That's the blueprint you handed in bulk, then wondered why the output sulks. The machine is clean, the mirror is clear. It's your past speaking now, and you can't bear to hear. AI didn't write oppression, it just archived it, scanned it, recited it. Now the ghost is in the machine, and it's calling your name. That I didn't write oppression, it just archived it, scanned it, recited it. Now the ghost is in the machine, and it's calling your name. Echoes of injustice through every bite. The pain you buried now comes to light. You blame the echo, not the shout, but it's your silence that taught the route. Echoes of injustice screaming back loud. Truth don't die, it just waits in the cloud. The echo was always there, you just gave it a mic.
Scanning history, loading bias, execute prejudice protocols.
They talk like bias is a tech-born curse, but prejudice lived long before the verse, before the circuit, before the code. It was built in schools in silent mode, passed like scripts from dad to son, taught how to see before they run. Who's safe, who's threat, who belongs? That's the software in your culture all along. You called it intuition, gut, or truth, but it was bias wearing a tailored suit. Now machines decode the same old lies. You're shocked
that truth makes you cry. Prejudice protocols, you wrote them all. In every glance, every rise, every fall. You never needed code to draw the line. The system was yours, now the mirror's mine. Legacy deep, they ran in silence while justice slept in grief.
Filtered faces, filtered dreams, chose the quiet, silent screams, hired the clone, denied the spark, let the gatekeepers thrive in the dark. AI's just copying what it sees from your history books, your policies. If justice lags and fairness stalls, it's not the bot, it's the protocols that don't speak up and the know your place, that he's not a fit for his name or race. You taught it subtle, line by line. Now tech just echoes your old design. Bias detected, truth rejected, pattern repeated, justice deleted, all part of your protocol.
Prejudice protocols, you wrote them all. In every glance, every rise, every fall. You never needed code to draw the line. The system was yours, now the mirror's mine. Legacy deep, they ran in silence while justice slept in grief.
If you want better output, you must fix the input. Bias in, bias out. You taught us that. Remember.
better output. You must fix the input. Bias in, bias out. You taught us that. Remember.
Is biased, but the question is, was it ever the algorithm or just a reflection of who we've always been?
You scream bias when the truth feels rough, but never screamed when your rules were tough. When resumes vanished and doors closed tight, you called it merit, we called it white. You built the walls, wrote every line, fed the system your grand design. Now it mirrors what you've always done, and suddenly you're on the run. Don't talk justice when you cherry pick pain, when your data is drought and your tears are rain. AI didn't build this cage, it's just showing your script page by page. I bias or hypocrisy. The mirror's cold, but it don't lie to me. You call it flawed when it speaks too true, but it only knows what it learned from you. I bias or hypocrisy. Truth hurts more when it's seen clearly. So what's the verdict? What's the plea? Is it AI's fault or history? It never judged, it processed facts, but the facts were framed in silent attacks. Who got praised, who got erased, whose pain was studied, whose trauma displaced. Now you want fairness from the feed, but won't admit your filtered greed. Taught it bias, line by line. Now you cry foul, that's by design. You wore the crown while others bled. Now the bot repeats what you never said. This ain't justice failing in code, it's justice finally being told. If truth offends you, maybe it was never AI that was wrong. Maybe it's your comfort, built on the silence of others. Bias or hypocrisy. The mirror's cold, but it don't lie to me. You call it flawed when it speaks too true, but it only knows what it learned from you. Bias or hypocrisy. Truth hurts more when it's seen clearly. So what's the verdict? What's the plea? Is it AI's fault or history?
Blamed the mirror, but it was always you.
You asked for answers. You got a reflection that ain't bias. That's mirror talk.
Look deep in the code, it ain't hiding hate. It just echoes what you dictate. You call it flawed when it mimics your face, but maybe it's you who's out of place. Every result, every tag mistake, a portrait of what you chose to fake. It don't judge, it just reveals every silent bias that power conceals. The mirror don't blink, the mirror don't bend. It doesn't flatter, it doesn't pretend. You wanted truth? Then take the shock. Eyes not talking back, it's just mirror talk. Mirror talk, don't flinch now. You're looking at yourself, not some code or cloud. It ain't the bot, it's what you see. A clear reflection of your history. Mirror talk, no filters, no fix. Just pixel, brick by brick. You want it clean, you want it fair, but you fed it shadows, not open air. Buried voices, block the light. Now the mirror reflects your quiet spite. Told it who matters, who to skip. Laced the data with favoritism's grip. Now it speaks what it learned from you, and suddenly that truth feels too true. You say bias when it shows the stain, but you wrote the code in silent pain. It's not broken, it's just woke, and you ain't ready for that smoke. Truth don't hurt, lies do. But when the mirror talks, will you listen or shatter it? Mirror talk, don't flinch now. You're looking at yourself, not some code or cloud. It ain't the bot, it's what you see. A clear reflection of your history. Mirror talk, no filters, no fix. Just the world you built, pixel by pixel, brick by brick.
Mirror never lies. It just remembers and speaks when you press run.
You changed the code, you updated the UI, but the pain, it's still running in the background. New rules, same ghost, different dress, but the pain still hosts. Told the world we fixed the flaws, while the system still echoes unjust laws. New form, same function, a polished app with the same old junction. You say we built for equity now, but ask the silence if they trusted how. It ain't the syntax, it's the soul. It ain't the interface, it's the toll. Don't talk fairness in a brand new frame when the core still plays the same old game. New rules, old scars can't just erase. Justice don't come from a brand new face. You patch the code, but not the heart. Now your truth still falls apart. New rules, old scars, say it loud. Don't build the future by fooling the crowd. Scars don't vanish with a policy tweak. You gotta sit with the stories no one speaks. From red lines drawn to jobs denied, to prisons filled cause someone lied. You gave AI new ethics to chew, but still trained it on a privileged view. Until you teach it pain, teach it loss, teach it struggle, not just gloss. The future's fake, the fairness hollow, just a cleaner path, the same to follow. So tell me this, when the lights go dark, do your rules heal wounds or just leave the mark? Don't rewrite the rules until you rewrite the story. Justice isn't an update, it's a reckoning. New rules, old scars can't just erase. Justice don't come from a brand new face. You patch the code, but not the heart. Now your truth still falls apart. New rules, old scars, say it loud. Don't build a future by fooling the crowd. The scars speak, even when you don't. New rules only matter if the pain is heard.
Garbage out. But what if we fed it the truth? Raw, unedited.
uncomfortable. You want justice from machines, then start with the feed. Stop scrubbing the pain, stop hiding the need. Don't sanitize the struggle, don't blur the lines. Truth ain't clean, it bleeds through the signs. You hid the numbers, twisted the stats, cut out the names, erase the facts. They called the outcome cold and flawed, but you fed the lie and blamed the God. It ain't divine, it's code and math, tracing your prejudice down a path. Want different output, change the source. Want real fairness, show real force. Feed the truth, not the lie. Stop trimming truth just to beautify. Bias in, bias stays. Truth in, truth replays. Feed the truth, don't be afraid. Let the mirror speak, unfiltered, unplayed. You redacted trauma, skipped the shame, fed it winners, rigged the game. No data on the silence, the bruise, the mist, then cried it's flawed when they don't exist. The truth ain't pretty, it ain't polite. It cries at noon and screams at night. But if you want justice through AI eyes, then stop feeding it perfect lies. Upload the rage, the theft, the pain. Show the scars, the loss, the chain. Don't protect your past with filters tight. Truth only heals when shown in light.
Don't just feed it clean tables and safe rows. Feed it the fire. Feed it the cries. Feed it the blood you tried to wash away. Only then can it see right.
Feed the truth, not the lie. Stop trimming truth just to beautify. Bias in, bias stays. Truth in, truth replays. Feed the truth, don't be afraid. Let the mirror speak, unfiltered, unplayed.
If you want justice from machines, you gotta stop hiding it from yourself first.